Okay, it's actually good afternoon. As you can see, it's rather a bit of a wintry mix. And I'm out in the woods, as I usually am. Now, Mr. Deegan and I are working on a collaborative lesson, and that lesson is basically tracking fugitives. And in this case, I'm gonna kind of title this as Think Like a Fugitive, because I'm going to kind of think like a fugitive. If someone were to pursue me, what would I do? Because you in security or a future law enforcement career may actually run into a situation where you may or may not have to track down someone who is wanted by the law. In this case here, we had a slide showing a short reading about a man named Albert Johnson, also known as the Mad Trapper of Rat River. He was a gentleman, it's believed he was about 30 years of age, who was wanted for trapping illegally in northern Yukon. This man here, basically, for lack of a better term, started shooting at the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Well, we got some tracks over here. And this man here, for a very long time, had eluded the police through the Yukon Mountains. Very rough terrain, below zero temperatures. It was very hard for them to get to him. Now, what did he do? Well, he used a few tricks, and I'm going to teach you a few of them, okay? One of them, okay, is what I'm doing now. What do you see? Well, it's snowing, right? It's snowing, and I'm not sure how much it is going to snow, but this is going to cover up my tracks. My tracks are pretty fresh, and if you look closely, okay, I'm walking in some day-old tracks. And you can distinctly see my boot print. What you want to do is memorize boot prints. And a lot of times, because of technology, like this thing here, just take a snapshot of it. And that way, if you run into other boot prints, which is what I'm going to try and demonstrate next, you'll be able to differentiate. Because one of the things he did do was he walked along with the herd of caribou. Caribou are the second largest members of the deer family, and they run in herds, sometimes thousands. And he was hoping that his footprints would be confused and covered up by the potentially hundreds of thousands of caribou that were migrating in one particular area. Now, another thing that is potentially possible, but it's actually kind of difficult here, if I was really, really pursued, I could walk through this stream. Okay, and carefully step. And you can see my distinctive foot pattern from this shoe here. Okay. I just kind of hopped across. See, the snow is not very deep. I mean, if it was up to my waist, it would be a little bit more, not a little bit, a lot more difficult to traverse. Okay, but with the right kind of foot gear, what I could do I could step into this stream and slowly negotiate my way forward in the hopes of confusing my pursuers. Of course, it's not easy, and I could end up harming myself quite a bit. I could slip, fall, break an ankle, and then I'm done. But as you look back here, it looks like I might, like, again, if I were to do this for some distance, I could throw my pursuers off, because you can see my fresh footprints coming into the stream. And now you're going to have to make a decision. Did I go downstream or did I go upstream? You're going to have to look for subtle clues. And right now with the snow falling, this is one where it's to my advantage. Of course, I got nice insulated waterproof boots. If you think about it, okay, you may not have that particular option. If you have like regular leather patrol boots and your job is to pursue me, your feet might freeze before you have a chance to catch me. Again, if I was really pursued, I would work my way up as best as I can. But as you can see, there are some spots here I might have no choice but to leave the stream bed. And hopefully you as future LE or security would be able to pick up on that. Now, what am I going to do here? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go over and I'm going to try and walk in these footprints. These are old footprints from Saturday. How do I know that? I made them. Obviously I was out deer hunting. I didn't get a deer, but I did have some fun walking around out in the 4-degree weather. Oh, we get some tracks here. It's not deer, not coyote. I think it's actually, might be Fisher. Here's a clue right here. The branches, which would have snow, are kicked off. So these bare branches are a clue, and also little broken tips. Okay. Oh. Deer tracks here. In fact, this is something to learn. This was made probably last night, or maybe even today. You can see the footprint. It's starting to fill up with snow, and it just started snowing about 1 hour ago. That's an important clue. Not just for like if I was going to hunt deer, but also you're looking for your fugitive. Because if you're tracking somebody and the weather's changing where it's going to obliterate that track in the form of snow or rain, you really want to know where, what I'm trying to say is it'll give you a timestamp. In this case here, we know that as I'm walking through, if the prints are just barely covered like that, then I know I'm only about an hour or so away. Okay. Obviously, this deer is there's actually two deer here. They're actually kind of smart in the set, and since they're two together, I'm going to say they're does. Yeah, 1, 2. And I'm just going to try and walk in my old footprints from yesterday, again, in the hopes of confusing my pursuer. Of course, it's easier than it looks. But I may take the time to do it right, because I might have been in jail and I don't want to go back there. So that's one of the two tricks there that Albert Johnson kind of used. Granted, I'm not in the Yukon, but he used the tracks of the caribou. In this case here, I'm using my old tracks to cover up my trail. See, I'm hoping that with the new fresh snowfall, this will be covered up. And also here, as I walk, sorry, as I walk here, again, my old tracks, and also the deer are using this too. So if deer happen to go through here again, hopefully they'll kind of disturb my print, and it can buy me some precious time. Okay. Now, here's another set of tracks, and these are actually mine. There was another hunter here, but the point I want to make is that I'm trying to confuse you. I'm hoping that with the snowfall, you're going to see 2, maybe 3 sets of human prints, and you're not sure which ones to go after. Because my footprint and that of the others are pretty close. Oop. That's a clue right there. Hopefully the snow will cover that up. But again, that's something you want to look for. Okay. A couple sets of tracks here. I'm going to try, and like I said, I'm trying to step in one boot print into the other. So I want to confuse you. Pardon me. Okay, well, there's my tree stand. Okay. And there's a trail camera. But again, the important point is what I'm attempting to do here. Now, another thing that Albert Johnson did, okay, he used the terrain. Okay, that deer came out of... Yeah, I'm killing two birds with one stone, okay? So, forgive me. Here's another clue. I'm coming into some swampy ground, right? Now, you noticed even after a full 24 hours, you can see a brown stain from the tannin-enriched water from this swampy area. Now, here's something I might want to do. All right? How bad do you want me? I'm going in the prints of another man. And the deer, if there was more than one deer, if this was, like in the case of Albert Johnson, caribou, they would have been covered up. I'm trying to confuse you guys. And one other thing I can do, I can go